Under the shadow of Russia's vastness, there are regions where the land feels as if it belongs to another world, places where the silence is so thick it feels alive, and where even the most hardened soldiers refuse to tread. These are not merely remote corners marked by distance on a map. They are territories wrapped in layers of fear, tragedy, and strange occurrences that have accumulated over decades. Officially, many of these areas are written off as uninhabitable, cursed by nature, poisoned by history, or simply too dangerous for human presence. Unofficially, the stories are darker. Entire military units sent there have failed to return. Expeditions have vanished without a trace. The few who have survived speak in fragments, unwilling to revisit the memories that still haunt them. One of the most infamous of these places lies deep within Siberia, beyond the reach of most roads and far from any settlement, the Valley of Death, or as locals call it, the Valley of the Cauldrons. Hidden along a remote stretch of the Yakutian wilderness, it is said to contain strange metallic domes partially buried in the permafrost. Hunters who have ventured to close describe the ground as warm even in the coldest winter, an unnatural heat that seeps upward from the earth. Legends claim these cauldrons are remnants of an ancient, possibly extraterrestrial technology, a defense system built to destroy incoming threats from the sky. Some link them to strange mid-air explosions like the Tunguska event of 1908, where a blast flattened thousands of square kilometers of forest without leaving an impact crater. But the same legends carry a warning: those who linger in the valley fall ill with symptoms no doctor can explain. They grow weak, their skin burns without sunlight, and their hair falls out in clumps. These are not isolated accounts. In villages miles away, the elders quietly discourage younger hunters from going anywhere near that cursed land. Far to the west lies another forbidden expanse, the abandoned test ranges of Novaya Zemlya. Once a military outpost where the Soviet Union pushed the limits of nuclear weaponry, it is home to the largest man-made explosion in history, the detonation of the Tsar Bomba in 1961. The blast was so powerful it shattered windows over 900 kilometers away and sent a mushroom cloud soaring into the stratosphere. The shockwave circled the Earth 3 times. Today, the site remains radioactive, the ground laced with isotopes that will outlive generations. Officially, the area is restricted for safety reasons, but rumors persist of strange lights that dance across the horizon at night, of equipment malfunctioning without reason, and of wildlife behaving erratically, as if sensing something unseen. Soldiers who have patrolled the perimeter speak of an oppressive stillness, a feeling as though they are being watched. One account, whispered among veterans, tells of a squad that went missing during a routine inspection. When a search party was sent, they found no bodies. Only weapons and boots scattered across the snow. In the Far East, near the desolate Kamchatka Peninsula, lies a region the army avoids not because of radiation or ancient machinery, but because of something even more unpredictable: nature itself. This land is home to some of the most active volcanoes on Earth, and the ground here is in constant motion. Earthquakes shake the soil with little warning, geysers erupt unexpectedly, and sudden gas emissions kill everything in their path. One valley, known ominously as the Valley of Death by locals, releases invisible volcanic gases so potent that birds drop from the sky mid-flight. Even predators that venture near are found lifeless, their bodies intact but surrounded by an invisible poison. Military exercises planned in the region have been abruptly canceled after reconnaissance drones failed to return, their signals lost to some unknown interference. Scientists who study the area admit that its geology is still poorly understood. Pockets of gas can accumulate under the soil, releasing without warning in deadly bursts. For the locals who live on the fringes, survival means reading the land like a book, knowing where not to step, where not to linger, and always watching the wind. But not all forbidden places in Russia are defined by nature's wrath. Some are shaped by the human hand, then abandoned and left to rot, yet they still seem to breathe with an unseen presence. In the dense forests of the Ural Mountains, there are ghost towns built for mining operations that abruptly ceased decades ago. The official records say these mines closed for economic reasons, but former workers tell a different story. They speak of strange vibrations deep underground, of machinery breaking without cause, and of an unbearable pressure that grew stronger the deeper they dug. In one site, miners claimed to hear a constant, low hum that seemed to come from the rock itself. At first, they dismissed it as the sound of distant drilling, until they realized the sound was still there when all machines were off. As accidents mounted, the mines were sealed and the towns around them emptied. Now the buildings stand hollow, their windows broken, their streets silent except for the wind. Those who trespass report feeling watched, their footsteps echoing unnaturally loud, and more than one has claimed to hear the same low hum the miners spoke of. There are also places cursed by history, regions tied to events so violent and unexplained that even decades later the scars remain. In the northern Ural Mountains, the Dyatlov Pass tragedy is still a wound in Russia's collective memory. In February 1959, 9 experienced hikers vanished during a trek. When rescuers found them weeks later, the scene defied logic. Their tent had been slashed open from the inside, their bodies scattered across the snow, some barefoot, others with strange injuries. Fractured skulls and broken ribs without external wounds, radiation on their clothing, and one woman missing her tongue. The official investigations have been inconclusive, offering theories ranging from an avalanche to secret weapons tests, but none explain all the details. The military quietly sealed parts of the area afterward, and while tourism has since reopened, locals avoid the pass, saying the mountains there are hungry and claim whoever enters is marked. The few soldiers who have trained in the region speak of unnerving nights when strange lights flash silently above the ridges and radios fill with static even in clear weather. Deeper into Siberia, beyond the Lena River, lies land that is almost entirely uncharted. Here, the taiga stretches endlessly, a labyrinth of pines, swamps, and frozen rivers. It is in these expanses that legends of the Red Forest take shape. A patch of woodland where the trees are twisted unnaturally, their trunks bent as though something immense pressed down on them. Hunters tell of animals that vanish without a sound, of campsites found abandoned with food still cooking over the fire. There are no military bases here, no permanent settlements, and yet people whisper of hearing engines overhead at night, though no aircraft are visible. Some claim the forest is the site of a crash, not of a plane, but something far stranger. Whatever fell here, they say, has poisoned the ground in ways that defy science. Soil samples taken by independent researchers are said to vanish en route to laboratories, and a few explorers who brought back specimens fell mysteriously ill before they could share their findings. In certain parts of Karelia, near the border with Finland, there are lakes where the water is so black and still that they seem like holes in the earth. The military once conducted diving operations here, but the mission stopped abruptly. Divers reported feeling an overwhelming sense of dread the deeper they went, as though the water itself was pressing in on them. One team surfaced in panic, claiming to have seen enormous, shadowy forms moving just beyond the reach of their lights. Official reports list equipment malfunction as the reason for abandoning the dives, but unofficially there are whispers of creatures from the depths, relics from a time before humans, that still patrol the dark waters. Locals refuse to fish here, and the few tourists who stumble upon these lakes often leave quickly, complaining of headaches and nausea after just minutes near the shore. What unites all these regions is not just their danger, but the way they seem to resist human intrusion. Whether it is nature reclaiming its dominion, the lingering fingerprints of human disaster, or something older and more alien, these places remain largely untouched, their mysteries unsolved. The Army's avoidance of them is not always about official orders or strategic irrelevance. Sometimes it is about unspoken knowledge, passed quietly among those who have been there and returned. The rest of us can only listen to the fragments of their stories and wonder what else lies hidden in the vastness of Russia, waiting for those foolish enough to seek it out. Some say these forbidden zones are Russia's scars. reminders of what happens when man overreaches. Others believe they are warnings from the Earth itself, telling us that some doors should never be opened. And perhaps that is why, despite the maps showing these regions as part of the same country, they feel like worlds apart. Places where the rules of reality bend, where the silence is more dangerous than noise, and where no one, not even the army, dares to go.